Hi, I'm Dan Donahue, Principal Solutions Architect at Nethopper. In today's session, I'm going to show you just how easy it is to migrate applications from one cloud provider to another using just a few clicks of the mouse. Let's get started. As we log into the platform, we can see we have an application network from my favorite fictional company called Cloudflow. This application network has 4 clusters. It has an on-prem cluster, which I'm using for the hub cluster. It has an AWS EKS instance, an Azure AKS instance, and a Google Cloud instance. Now, the EKS and the AKS clusters I created using infrastructure as code in the platform. And you can see here, I used the GitOps approach to do that. So back to my network, we can see that the EKS cluster is tagged with EKS, the AKS is tagged as AKS, and the Google Cloud is tagged as GCP. Now let's look at our applications. We have 2 applications, front end and back end. The front end is comprised of a service and a deployment, and the back end is a deployment. You can see they're both deployed to EKS. Now, why is that? They're deployed to the EKS because I have 2 distribution rules that says any object or application tagged front end should be distributed to a cluster tagged EKS. Same thing for the back end to an EKS. So if I want to now migrate to AKS for the front end application, all I simply have to do is I can include that tag. It'll be distributed to that AKS cluster. And now let's distribute the back end to the Google Cloud instance. Now that these distribution rules have been updated, those applications will be deployed on those clusters. And you can see here they are. The front end is now running in AKS as well as it was in EKS. It's running in GCP and it's running on EKS. Once I know that my applications are running and I verify that they're functional, I can then choose to migrate off EKS in this instance. So let's do that. To do that, we just simply remove the EKS tag from each of these rules, and those applications will be torn down on that EKS cluster. And we can see here that they have. The front end application is now only running on the AKS cluster, and the back end is running on GCP. So in this demo, we migrated those 2 applications running in EKS. We migrated one of them to AKS and one of them to Google Cloud with just a few clicks of the mouse button. Let's say I want to now decommission my EKS cluster. I can just simply choose to detach it from the network. And as we tear down our agent and anything else we installed on that cluster, we can see now that it is no longer part of the network. And if I wanted to tear down that cluster in AWS, because I created it with Crossplane within our application, I could either delete it or I can deactivate it. Now, deleting it will get rid of all this config. Let's say I want to use this EKS cluster again for something else. For now, I just want to deactivate it. By deactivating that cluster, Crossplane will now begin to tear down every resource I created in Amazon for that cluster. Go back to my network, and you can see everybody's up and running. My applications are deployed, and that is how you migrate across clouds. Now, this scenario could work for any combination of public, private, or on-prem clouds. The reason we can do that is our solution, again, is both cloud and Kubernetes agnostic. And here you have a simple migration of applications using just a few clicks of the mouse.